In the fjords of ancient Scandinavia, where the icy winds howled and the seas roared with unbridled ferocity, lived a people known for their indomitable spirit and unyielding courage, the Vikings. Among them was a young warrior named Eric, who, despite his lineage of fierce Norsemen, struggled with a deep-seated fear of battle. The tales of Viking conquests were not just stories to him. They were daunting reminders of the relentless bloodshed and the formidable foes his people faced. Eric's father, Jarl Ragnar, was a revered leader, known far and wide for his bravery and strategic prowess. He had led many raids across the seas, and his name alone struck fear into the hearts of enemies. Eric, however, felt overshadowed by his father's legacy. Though he trained rigorously, mastering the axe and shield, his heart raced with dread at the thought of joining the Viking expeditions. The clang of swords and the sight of blood were not just scenes of valor to him. They were a terrifying reality he could not shake. The time came when Eric could no longer avoid the call to arms. The village was abuzz with news of a great army amassing across the seas, led by King Harald, a Saxon monarch renowned for his ruthless campaigns. The Saxon army, equipped with heavily armored knights and fortified castles, posed a significant threat. Jarl Ragnar called upon his people to prepare for a raid, not only for plunder, but to send a message of Viking strength and resilience. As the longships were prepared and the warriors gathered, Eric felt the weight of expectation pressing down on him. The other warriors, seasoned and scarred from battles, spoke of their eagerness to clash with the Saxons, their eyes gleaming with anticipation. Eric, however, kept to himself, his mind a storm of anxiety. He could not escape the gnawing fear that he might not return, or worse, that he would fail and bring shame upon his father's name. On the eve of their departure, Eric found himself alone by the fjord, staring into the dark waters that mirrored his troubled thoughts. It was then that his father approached him, the imposing figure of Jarl Ragnar softened by the flickering torchlight. Sensing his son's turmoil, Ragnar spoke not as a leader, but as a father. "Eric, fear is a natural companion of warriors," he began, his voice calm and steady. "It is not the absence of fear that makes one brave, but the courage to face it despite its presence. The gods favor those who embrace their destiny, not those who cower from it." Ragnar's words resonated with Eric. He realized that every warrior, even his father, faced fear. The difference lay in how one chose to confront it. Determined to overcome his doubts, Eric spent the night in quiet reflection, seeking strength from the gods and from within. The following day, the longships set sail, their dragon-prowed bows slicing through the waves with a purpose. Eric stood among the warriors, his heart pounding, but now with a resolve that overshadowed his fear. As they neared the Saxon shores, the sight of the great army waiting for them sent chills down his spine. The Saxons, clad in gleaming armor, formed an impenetrable wall of steel and shields. The clash was inevitable. The Vikings, with their war cries and fierce determination, charged the shore. The air was thick with the sounds of battle, the clash of metal, the cries of the wounded, and the roar of warriors. Eric found himself in the thick of it, his axe in hand, his shield raised. The fear that once gripped him now fueled his movements, sharpening his focus. As the battle raged, Eric's fears gradually transformed into a fierce determination. He fought with a fervor he never knew he possessed, matching the Saxon knights blow for blow. In the chaos, he spotted his father, Ragnar, surrounded by enemies. Without a second thought, Eric rushed to his aid, fighting off the Saxons with a newfound courage. Together, they pushed through the enemy lines, rallying the Viking warriors around them. The tide of battle slowly turned in favor of the Vikings. The Saxon army, despite their numbers and armor, faltered against the relentless Viking assault. Eric's valor did not go unnoticed. His fearless charge inspired those around him, reminding them of the legendary Viking spirit that feared no foe, no matter how great. As the sun set and the dust settled, the battlefield bore witness to the Viking victory. The great army of Saxons lay defeated, their strongholds now vulnerable. The Vikings, bloodied but triumphant, celebrated their hard-won victory. Among them, Eric stood tall, his fear conquered, his place among the warriors secured. In the days that followed, tales of the battle spread across the Viking lands. Eric was no longer just the son of Jarl Ragnar. He was a warrior in his own right, a symbol of courage in the face of overwhelming odds. He had learned that true valor was not the absence of fear, but the strength to face it head-on. And so, Eric's name became legend, a testament to the Viking spirit that thrived not only in the glory of conquest, but in the quiet, personal battles each warrior faced. For in the heart of every Viking, there lived a flame of courage, burning bright against the darkness of fear, guiding them to victory time and time again.